ladies and gentlemen, that was your reaction to the 2024 Developer Direct. We ended with one single date. How do you feel about it?
Not confident, but okay. I feel okay.
We got the biggest question answered, in my opinion.
Yeah.
Which was Hellblade needed a definitive date.
Yeah.
And then
Not as close as I wanted it to be, though. Not too far.
So here's the thing, though. We now know what Xbox is delivering in the first half of the year, which is we are getting Hellblade. That's it.
Yes.
And I'm okay with that for the first half of the year.
Is
about an indie.
One of them was going to hit. Is getting pushed.
One of them will hit, though.
Yeah.
So if you were to tell me, though, last year was Redfall and Starfield, which it was. Like, at the start of the year, we knew that that was going to be the cadence of what we got for major first party. This year, we have Hellblade, which I guarantee you 100% will be better than Redfall. That is the Nick Evans promise right there.
Do you want to mute this real fast?
But I'm gonna close it out real soon.
Gotcha.
And then after that, I feel like no matter what, we're gonna get a game that's as good, if not better, than Starfield. Close out the year.
I think you can almost guarantee that one of these three games is going to be better than Starfield, or at least critically better.
Oh,
for a
definitely.
lot of people.
And then I think
more for everybody than it seemed like Starfield ended up being. Yeah, I think that was a good showing for indie. It's not exactly what I'm looking for, but I have faith in Machine Games. They only have put out bangers so far. That's kind of what they do.
Yeah.
With Wolfenstein, except for the Youngblood, Wolfenstein Youngblood.
Yep.
People didn't like that one. But yeah, I think there's a good chance that game's great, at least good. I hope that they can deliver the goods. I just want to reiterate that I want to leave one of these showcases feeling super stoked and confident in Xbox, and I do not feel that way after leaving today.
I am going to disagree with that statement.
Yeah.
Of like, I don't feel like 10 out of 10. I don't think it's a 10 out of 10 showcase. I think this is a 9 out of 10 showcase, though. Because we got the questions that we needed.
A 9 out of 10?
9 out of 10.
You're out of your
Connor,
mind.
we got, here's the thing.
Thank you so much, BC. Crispy with the raid. Appreciate you.
We got exactly what we wanted with dates.
Yes.
We got dates. We got the date that we needed, most importantly. Last year we got a couple dates because we had things like Minecraft Legends. But when we're talking about games that not only speak to me, but speak to a general audience, there was something for everyone here. They delivered the goods.
Yeah.
And they gave us 2024. This is 2024. I also think that this type of showcase is just the best. I love this type of showcase.
I disagree. I don't love the way.
I'm saying as a primer for this year. I would prefer an Xbox showcase where we get a bunch of hype and a bunch of great announcements.
Yeah.
But if you're going to say at the start of the year, we're going to set the table for what the first half looks like compared to something like PlayStation where we're going to get that in February. We're not going to get a lot of dates of things that are happening in the first half of the year. January is a throwaway month for them nowadays. Like, we are now able to be like, okay, this is what we got.
Right.
We got the surprise of Secret of Mana looking as dope as it did. Visions of Mana, sorry. And yeah, Indie, in my opinion, I am actually like, hell yeah, I'm down for Indie. I'm not like, here's the thing, I'm not like, would I want another Uncharted game? Yes. Am I kind of excited that it's first person to give us something a little bit different than an Uncharted game? Yes. I do need that.
I think I'm giving this a 7 out of 10, and I'm being generous.
Really?
Yeah.
I think that they delivered the goods. I think they
did the bare minimum to be good. You know what I mean?
But I think that Indie needed a great showing. I think it was a great showing.
I thought it was a good showing because it's not third person. Everybody wanted the indie game to be Uncharted or Tomb Raider. That's what we all wanted. We wanted Xbox's Uncharted or Tomb Raider, and we did not get that. It's something different, which is fine, but it is a letdown.
No, I think that it is different and that's necessary because if it was exactly like that, a lot of people would also be a little disappointed. I disagree.
I think if I'm Xbox, you need to just totally take something from PlayStation and just take their ideas at this point and copy what they're doing to some capacity. Don't be blatant about it, but they have the roadmap figured out.
But also, the big thing that I want to discuss is fucking getting a date for Hellblade, for it being first half of the year, for it looking as good as it does.
It's too late. It's like, we've been waiting for this game for so long. They've showed it fucking 15 times.
Yeah, but now we got the date, and it looked great, and why
it's not as early as we thought it would be.
No, I think
it's earlier in the year to spread out a little bit. And then just because they finally showed us a date after trailing us along for the last 5 years. I'm not gonna just give them a huge round of applause.
It's not about giving us
the game.
It's about giving us an answer.
The game still looks not as good as I would like it to.
I think it looks exactly how I would like it to.
I think it's gonna fall low 80s.
And then
at its peak, low 80s.
And then we need to discuss Avowed. I think Avowed looks the part for what it's trying to do.
I don't think we got enough to really make a judgment call.
I think we got the exact amount that we're going to get, and then we're going to get more in the fall. If this is Xbox's year, how excited are you for Xbox's year? Because I'm stoked. I'm like, they're doing way more than...
I wanted to leave this way more excited than I am. I think I am tentatively excited at this point.
For me...
I think I will play every single one of these games. Do I think that I do think any of those games have a chance of being in the 90s on Metacritic? Absolutely not. Not in a million
Hellblade
years.
absolutely does.
No.
With that being said, you got to compare this also. This is their second at-bat with the developer direct. Last year... Hi-Fi Rush carried in a major way. Everything else was, Legends, Minecraft Legends, all right. Forza Motorsport, we know what that is. This, I feel like we got exciting news on games that we didn't know about, and we got we didn't just get the indie trailer. We got a deep dive of what this game is, why they're doing what they're doing, and that is what excites me for indie a lot more than just the trailer.
Big Mac says Hellblade gives me Rise vibes. I agree with that, but I say Order 1886.
He's saying even worse.
Where it's all it's similar. Where it's all about the visuals, it's all about the fidelity, it's all about the experience, and they forgot to make a video game. Nothing in the combat there. They barely even showed any combat. They just talked about how they improved it. I don't buy it based on what we've seen.
For me, it's...
what they did show, I was like, this doesn't look fun. This doesn't look like God of War gameplay.
I don't want God of War gameplay from this, though.
You want something that feels good to play.
I want something that feels good to play, but it doesn't not feel good to play. But everything else is there.
Extremely mediocre third-person action.
I think that game, at a minimum, is an 83, 84 on Metacritic and has 90 upside. And that's something that you cannot discuss for a lot of PlayStation first party this year. Not something you discuss for a lot of Nintendo first party this year. I think that they came out and said, with this, they're first at bat. This is literally them saying, we want to go up first and we want to show up what we got, and then everyone else has to follow it.
Right.
Because we're going to get a State of Play and probably a February Direct.
Do you think we see Hellblade again before it comes out? That's a major red flag for me. They have yet to show a stretch of gameplay with her fighting, and we have not seen that yet.
We did, though. We saw a 6-minute
that
fighting.
Does not count. With the sword fighting, which is what you're going to be doing for most of the game, apparently, they did not show her blocking, dodging, slashing. They did not show that in a long stretch in any capacity. We've seen little cutting clips, and then we saw a gameplay sequence of her running, throwing a spear, which looks like shit. It does not look fun at all.
It looked amazing.
That doesn't matter to me. I it needs to do both to be a 9, Nick.
I don't think Hellblade's delayed at this point. I think that they wanted to make sure that they locked in a date that they know they can hit. I think that game will go gold in March. It'll be done in March, and then they'll be like, we got it delivered. My whole thing is Xbox, Nintendo, and Sony figuring out what their year is. Sure, literally though, on the 2024 predictions, you're like, if Indie, Avowed, and Hellblade are all in this year, it's a great year, and they're all this year. And we got Secrets of Mana, which I'm not doubting there is a chance that game gets delivered. Or Visions, goddamn. That game is on Game Pass. I think that might be the case.
I think it's a good shot, but that doesn't mean it's an Xbox game.
I'm not saying it's an Xbox game, but for them to have this at that showcase where it to look as good as it did is a win.
And here's the thing, though, Nick. The me saying Avowed, Hellblade, Indie all hitting this year, that was under the assumption that they all were going to look fantastic. Avowed did not blow me away. It looks good. Indie is not third person. It looks good. So I'm skeptical about it. And then Hellblade, I've been a naysayer.
Well, that's the thing. Before this, we had Avowed and we had Hellblade shown. I think Avowed looks better at this showing than the showing we got at the showcase. I think it looks. The showcase was not a good showing. It actually, in my opinion, took the game down to my hype level way more than we bounced back.
So that brought it down,
and then this brought it up.
This might have ticked it up a little bit. I think the gameplay looks better than I thought. But then you also comes with the caveats of there being being 3 enemies, and then also the fact that they barely showed us anything.
But they were saving you. We all know why they didn't show a ton. It's because they're going to go and get another dose during the summer showcase.
It's Rico Richie asked if I played Hellblade 1. Yes, I have. And the combat in that, if the combat is just like the first one, but a little bit improved, it's bad combat.
Okay.
The worst part of that game is the combat.
What I'm saying is, I believe that this is a good stake in the ground for, in my opinion, Xbox had a great year last year. Like a really solid year from the first party standpoint of, we got a good surprise. We got Starfield, which was mixed reviews. And then the biggest win was them bringing in Activision Blizzard King. Like that was big for them overall. This year, what we were getting delivered is straight up a great cinematic experience. A first-person magic, Fable-esque, like Skyrim game, and a great action-adventure game. If we get 3 8s...
You're making a lot of great assumptions.
If we get 3 8s, or 2 8s and a 7, that is better than the Xbox has done in a long, long time.
That's worse than a down PlayStation year during the PS4.
I mean, totally. I mean, that's worse than a down year PlayStation 5 year.
That's the problem, is that the conversation that we have about these consoles is it always comes down to comparing. And if this was like early PS4, like talking about like the launch titles, like, and this was what they were going up against, but yeah, this is a great lineup, but we're in a different landscape now. Like when Sony can come out with Ghost of Tsushima and The Last of Us.
Where is it? Where are those games this
year?
I know.
I'm saying like when you're comparing it to previous years on PlayStation, where they've had 2 to 3 bangers, Detroit, Spider-Man, and a God of War in the same year. It's like, okay, you put those up against those 3. It's not even fucking close.
I know, but what I'm saying is right now, with the year that we're about to get delivered, which will most likely be punctuated by Nintendo releasing the Switch 2, and it is a everyone get out of the way year.
I don't think that's the thing.
This is...
2017, PlayStation still came out with good games.
Good games, but they didn't come out with the bangers.
What was 2017 again?
Horizon. So what else was in 2017 other than Horizon?
Persona 5 as well.
Oh, yeah.
That's not a first party. And I know Pizza's joking, but I'm not an Xbox hater. I want them to succeed. I came into this wanting to be blown away. Confirmed. I thought I heard that.
Hell yeah.
And good for him.
Good for him. He saw Nolan North do it. He wanted his shot to play.
It sounded like Nolan North.
Yeah,
there.
Like, I mean, Troy Baker's doing a Nolan North impression for sure.
And don't get me wrong, like I'm not totally poo-pooing this. I'm just saying my expectations were here for a great developer direct. Second of all, real fast, interstitial here. Don't like the developer direct format. I think this would be better. It's cool to hear from devs or whatever, but we were talking through half of the things that when they were talking.
So my thing is, yes, totally, but we're also doing reaction content. We're supposed to be talking and giving our thoughts as things are coming up and going along.
We're also supposed to be listening.
That is true. With that being said, I enjoy the fact that we get to, at the start of the year, which they, for now 2 years, have now set the cadence that this, at the start of the year, are going to bring in some heat. Like, that we're going to learn what the year is,
especially... Why can't they just be a direct? Like a regular direct?
I mean, because they don't have enough.
Why can't they just show the games?
Because they would be too short.
You get some third parties in here. Do a.
I mean, they
state of play.
No, they did that though at the end of the year with their partner showcase, where they brought in Alan Wake 2, and they brought in Delta, and they brought in these titles that people did care about. But they want to show. They want to show the first party. Well, that's what you're going to get with the showcase. They are saying we have 2 major announcements and then the deep dives for the year. Announcements, deep dives for the year. Showcase and then developer directions, the deep dives. And then we're going to get interstitial partner showcases throughout the year. And I can live with that. It's not a
deep dive. It's developers talking, not showing. It's like doing a cinematic trailer. It doesn't give us anything until they like actually show me how it plays.
I mean, I think that the Avowed showcase, we got to see how this game plays. The Secret of Mana showcase, we got to see how this game plays. And the Hellblade, we got to see how the game is played way more than any other time. With your statement, we haven't seen how it plays. We got to see more of how it plays than any other showcase. Why do you need
the devs talking in between it?
To buffer it, to allow you for them to say it's cinematic, for them to say...
That doesn't bring anything to the table.
I know, but...
It's not a tight experience. I want a tighter experience here.
Like, I enjoyed this, though. I enjoy sitting down and listening and getting them to take us through the studio, letting them say, this is where we're going, this destination, this destination, this destination. Honestly, also explaining...
And I do like putting some focus on the devs. That is nice and everything. It's a nice sentiment, but do I think it adds anything to the presentation? No.
For me, I wanted a deep dive on Indiana Jones and Hellblade. I wanted to actually understand a little bit more from their creative input
your
what is
definition
happening.
of deep dive, I don't fully understand. Like, what does that mean?
Well, I would
saw...
much rather see a 7-minute trailer of gameplay.
Yeah.
But if they don't have that ready, that is my biggest gripe with the Hellblade showcasing, was that we didn't get 5 minutes of uninterrupted gameplay. That is what I wanted from this, and we didn't get that.
Did they do that at all last year?
I mean, we got a lot of that when it came to Hi-Fi Rush. We saw so much gameplay, we saw cinematics, but that was an announcement. And I do think that we got a lot of that with Secret of Mana. Visions of Mana. Jeez Louise. Visions of Mana. And I think that it looks great. And I'm at the point where I am ready, I'm excited for this. But, none of these feel like heavy hitters yet. My thing with Xbox is, and I hate to say it, like, the expectation forever needs to be lowered. It does. If you are going into this being like, we are going to get something that is God of War level, you are not going to get that, and you will be disappointed every time.
Why can't we expect that from them? Why can't we push
because
for that?
We can push for that, but we can expect that. That's like saying, hey, Zach Wilson, go out there and fucking be Tom Brady. It's not going to happen.
You think these teams aren't capable of making
I think Machine Games is capable of making a terrific game, and that game, to me, looks terrific.
You think they are incapable of making a game that is on the level of God of War?
Yeah, completely at this point.
You think every single Xbox studio is incapable of that?
I think that they're capable of making tailored experiences like Ninja Theory's Hellblade. Not Ninja Theory. It is Ninja Theory. Yeah, like Ninja Theory's Hellblade, like Machine Games, where it is you were going to be Indiana Jones. You were going to have this audio. Connor, if I was underestimating them, they would have delivered the goods in the past 10 years. They haven't done that once in 10 years.
They can do it. They have bad leadership and they have bad guidance on in direction on how to make these games.
So the way you're saying is we have a franchise here like the Chargers where they have some talented players, but all of a sudden they're not delivering the goods and you're expecting them to do something different than what they've done in the past 10 years. You cannot expect that. And I don't expect that.
I don't expect it because Phil Spencer's at the top.
Exactly. So for them to deliver a great slate of games where I think 2 of these games look great and have the potential to be, at the end of our year, Indy and I believe Hellblade have a good shot of being in both of our top 10s, which that is a huge win for them.
I don't agree.
You don't think that they have a chance to be in our top 10s?
I think if these 3 games came out last year, none of them will be in my top 10. And that is totally
okay. That's totally that's also we're talking about the greatest year in gaming history
in 2018 and 2017.
You're just going greatest year. 2019 they would be 2020 or 2021 they could be
maybe.
That's what I'm saying. Top 10s. We're gonna be playing a lot of fucking games this year, and I believe that Hellblade has a really good shot to be in my top 10 this year. Yeah. It also has a good shot to not be. I think that there's a chance it's not, but I think there's a good shot it is. Yeah. I think that Indiana Jones has a really good shot. If they're able to capture some level of magic, which I think that they did a really good job of showing, especially when they were going and showing the motion capturing for that game and being like, we're just tossing bodies around. We have 5 different people playing these characters and just letting it fly. Super fun. I'm really curious to see what the whip combat, like I said, though, it looks goofy a little bit.
It looked not fun.
But this great TikTok named Jack the Whipper being like, oh, whips will be great in the zombie apocalypse. He was like, no, whips are not good for combat. Like, they do not make sense in the combat level. I think that is the case.
What are they good for, then?
They're good for whipping things. Okay. Like, they're good for cattle. And, like it's not supposed to be a weapon. I think that this game looks really great. I think Hellblade looks really great. And at the end of the day, I am more excited for Hellblade than I was before the showcase.
Do you want to make a bet? You want to make a little bet here? What the Metacritic overall score is of all of these? Like
all
the
4?
No, the 3.
Just the 3?
Yeah, Indy.
Okay, what's the number you're looking at?
83.
It's a really good line. In my mind,
do you want to take just an over-under?
No. Let me just think through this.
No, you gotta give me.
And I know, but I need to think through this. I think if I were a betting man after seeing Hellblade, I think that Hellblade's going to be an 86.
Okay.
I think that Indiana Jones is probably an 84, 83, and I think that Avowed is going to be in the mid 70s. So I can't take that bet.
You think Avowed's going to be in the mid 70s?
Yeah.
I think that Hellblade is a low 80. I think Avowed is a mid to high 80, and I think that BC Crispy, BC Crispy, thank you so much for the gifted sub to Fantastic Farts. And I think that Indy is like an 83. It just evens out there.
That's which
does not feel good to me.
I know, but also that is
Indy is 75. I feel like that's too. I don't think they would allow that to happen.
By the way, Hellblade for internal reviewers were getting 90s. And they've been wrong before. Internal reviewers have been wrong before, but they've also been right a lot more than they've been wrong. And for that to be 90s and seeing that, I'm like, dude, I just the hard part is like it's sort of like Spider-Man where I'm like the story might not be there in the same way that the combat might not be there, and those are two big fucking things, but everything else is there in such a large way that I'm like, it's hard not to give that game if literally the combat is so boring, or it's Hellblade 1 combat, it's hard not to give that game, in my mind, an 83, 84, at least, just because it's doing everything else so right.
Yeah.
And that's where, dude.
See, I like Starfield.
I also want to say this. I'm dropping my score from a 9 to an 8.5 on the Golf 64 score.
Oh, good.
Fine, I'll drop it to an 8. I'll drop it to an 8.
Right.
This is like coming from.
Yeah, I do. Things got kind of heated there for a minute there. You got a little upsetty spaghetti. But like, I do want to read it. We are brothers. We are not. The way that we talk to each other is so different to how I think a lot of people expect people to talk to each other.
Especially in the gaming industry where there's a lot of like respect. I think that we were drawing out a good conversation, which is
we're like almost like
Stephen
like
A.
Yes,
and,
I was exactly
Shannon
like
Sharp.
Stephen A. and Shannon Sharp, or Stephen A. and Skip Bayless or whatever. Like we're
but
like
the worst,
we're just getting into it a little bit, but it's all about the content. It's not about each other in any capacity. So, but that was fun. It was fun discussion.
I mean, yeah. At the end of the day, this is what I want at the start of my year from every team. From Sony, from Xbox, I just want answers.
I don't want a developer direct though. I just want a straight.
Would you rather them just like
if they stripped every single bit of commentary out of this and just showed what they showed? Basically, that's better. Don't waste my time. This is a waste of time.
I feel like I just had a great afternoon of listening and talking about games, and
this could have been a 15-minute event. I agree.
I mean, it could have been a 15-minute event. We actually thought it was 10 minutes, but it was 10 minutes.
We've seen the blueprint with Nintendo,
and
then Sony just copied it, and people are like, okay, it's not as good as Nintendo, but it's still good.
No, the issue is they know what their slate, they want to be different. And I actually appreciate that we, at the start of the year, get more answers on first-party games than any other developer by getting these.
But that doesn't come with the commentary. That just comes with them giving you release dates.
I understand, but if I have to go through 50 minutes to, at the start of every single year, get answers, get surprises, and get hyped about some really cool games, Nick, I will take it.
I understand what you're saying, that you like this being here. That's not what I'm talking about.
Yeah.
I'm talking about specifically
the presentation.
The pacing. I do not think that they need to have the interstitials with the developers. It's nice to display the developers and give them some love, certainly. That I think is the biggest service that comes from doing this, is showing off the developers and seeing some faces who make the games that we love. I appreciate that aspect, but I don't think it adds anything to the viewer personally.
I do
They
agree.
could just do a voiceover while they're doing the gameplay or something.
But there's also, last year we got that Starfield Direct, which was just a deep dive of the developers, and that was one of the best video game presentations of all time.
I like that, yeah. I like that a lot.
And so, like, I do see that for some of these video games, especially something like Avowed, where that's going to be a long, large game, I do like hearing the different aspects of, like, what am I actually getting from this? Because I don't think a 3-minute Avowed trailer at this point does anything for me. Right. In the same way that they showed 3 minutes of Avowed during the Xbox showcase last year, and it did nothing for me. Literally nothing. I was like, I'm way less hyped about this game.
Well, it looked lesser than we thought it was, and then our expectations were lowered, and then when we saw it today, it's like, okay, that looks better than what I thought it was going to be.
Yeah, I went from like, oh, this game could be like Skyrim like in 2023, 2024, this is going to be awesome, and then after I saw it, I was like, oh, no, this is Obsidian's paint over something that like isn't that great, and then this, I'm like, okay, the combat's there. Wands and guns, I do think looks awesome.
I think the combat looks better than you would expect from a Elder Scrolls game at this point, where we know what an Elder Scrolls game is. So there's that, and then it's a matter of like the story, narrative, choices, characters. That's what Obsidian does really, really well. And if they can deliver on that, then I think that the visual fidelity stuff, like, just kind of gets pushed to the wayside as long as the game is good. And Obsidian, I mean, like I would be curious to see what their overall Metacritic
aspiration
history is, what their like meeting is. I imagine it's. Like,
I mean, they made Pentiment, they made Grounded,
they made Fallout New Vegas.
Yeah.
They've only really made. Did they get taken off of that? They did make The Stick of Truth, but they got taken off of it, and Ubisoft.
What I'm saying is these teams are. I'm excited leaving this, which like I understand you're not, and that's where that's where the discussion that we're having comes from. Is like when I am on stream later tonight, 7 p.m. to 10 p.m. What up? Shameless plug. I will be discussing this in a very high regard of like I got what I wanted from this. And I'm excited to potentially throughout the weekend get the opportunity to talk to Snowbike Mike, who's a huge Xbox fan, and be like, what did you think of this? I promise you, he's feeling really good right now.
Doyle Meister says, I'd give a kidney to get a Fallout New Vegas remaster. I'm right there with you. It doesn't even need to be a remake. Just remaster it. Just make it look a little bit better. Put it on modern consoles. Give it to me.
So Xbox needs to bring the hype. I think that they do that with these showcases by introducing the bonus game. Like, whether it is Visions, whether it is...
What if they never said anything about indie?
What do you mean?
And that's the surprise.
I think...
That would have been legendary.
Yeah.
Yeah, I actually disagree with Connor about the style of Direct. I get the idea that it could be shorter, but after the Starfield Direct, I'm so down for seeing more explanation and inspiration from developers on these games. We aren't really getting that from Sony.
That's what I'm saying.
Nintendo. That's
literally what my main point.
Could we find a middle ground there though, where it's just voiceover like they did with the Starfield Direct? I don't think they need to cut. Just keep showing me games.
But last year they did a really good job with Minecraft Legends, where they literally like, here's a battle sequence, and they had voiceover of the battle sequence, and I enjoyed that. I thought we'd get a little bit more of that, especially with Indie, where I wanted more than anything from Indie, and especially Hellblade, for it to be like, this is the situation that we're in.
Right.
Watch as we play this Hellblade sequence. Combat. This is a square and an R2 for your up slash. This is a square and an L2 for your side slash. This is how you block. This is how you dodge a little bit. What is that? Like, I wanted to see that.
Right.
And they didn't deliver that. But what
for
we
Hellblade
did for Hellblade.
And the fact that you think we're not going to see any gameplay or like any breakdown like that before, that adds to my feeling they're hiding something, dude. I just don't believe that the gameplay is going to be
Connor,
special.
let's just say we get review codes for this game. If Xbox, if you're listening, we love review codes for Hellblade. Connor might not, but I would.
No, I would. I want to play this game 100%. I hope it's great. I hope I am wrong.
Yeah.
I hope I am wrong about all of this. I want all of these games
to be 95.
I want all of them to be fantastic.
Yeah.
That is all I want in the world. But it is our job as pundits, as people who are reacting to this, for me to give my honest opinion on it. And that's how I feel. That's just my gut feeling that Hellblade's not going to be. It's going to focus too much on the fidelity.
I do think that this is an important thing to discuss. By the way, we're just going to post the direct, and then we're going to post this as probably something after the fact as a short 25-minute podcast or something like that. This is something that Rise of Jazz said, and I think it's important. We only got one solid release date. That's what this is. It is what is coming out in the first half of the year until we get to the showcase, compared to when we get Sony's State of Play, which I have so low expectations for, because the February State of Plays and the March State of Plays always blow chunks.
What do you think we see at a Sony State of Play? I think you get Ronin.
Yep.
You get a gameplay section of Ronin.
I think we get Stellar Blade a date.
Stellar Blade, a date, and gameplay.
Yep.
And then surprise.
I would say Metal Gear Solid Delta date or a Silent Hill 2
That's a
date.
Fucking great showcase.
I mean, that's a really good showcase.
Yeah, I think we can get a better mix of voiceover over gameplay. That's fair, but I really hope that these kind of developer directs become more common in the industry. These glimpses in the minds of developers make the industry feel much less corporate and more passionate, and I adore that. That is the best aspect of that. That's that part that I do appreciate and do like about it. I like hearing from the devs and giving a spotlight to them, for sure. I understand what you're saying.
But you would rather have the 15-minute version of just gameplay and
I would rather have it.
Yeah.
Behind-the-scenes info and interviews only work as a marketing tool if people know the game is amazing, but most of the time we don't know that. When it's Rockstar or Naughty Dog or something, people will get excited because of their track record.
I mean,
that's a good point.
Here's the thing: right now, this is their big dogs. Machine Games, Obsidian, like these are their teams that they want or that they believe are their Naughty Dog.
We're still in prove it mode, and you can't start comparing them to Naughty Dog if you say they're not capable.
I still don't believe that. But for Xbox, they are saying that these are our best foot forward, and we're allowed to talk about these
this
developers.
This is their best foot forward. That's a bad sign.
Connor, but
That's scary.
We need Xbox isn't winning the Super Bowl anytime soon, Connor. It's not happening.
Why can't they?
Because
just because they've never delivered it, they haven't delivered in the last decade doesn't mean they're incapable of delivering.
In my opinion, with what you said, with the leadership that they have, with the teams that they have,
your expectations are just on the floor. So your expectations are zero. So you're excited.
No, my expectations
my expectations are here. So because I expect this because I think they're capable of it. I think Xbox is capable of great things. They have so many fucking teams and so much money. Give them the resources, give them the money and time they need to make great games. Just fucking
my expectation
deliver.
is 2021. I want 2 games that I can leave the year that are in my top 10 with a banger like Forza Horizon 5, which is one of my favorite games of all time, and like Halo Infinite, which gave me endless hours of fun and gameplay. I believe that Hellblade has the case here to be and Indie to be in our top 10s, and that is why in this showcase proved that to me more than any other showing that we've got from Hellblade and obviously Indie. I think Indie. I'm excited to go and listen to this direct back, and this is something that I do pretty often. Is immediately after I go, I watch other people's reactions, and then for the stuff that I really care about, I listen to the developers to make sure that I didn't miss anything. A lot of people think that we talk over it to miss things on purpose. No, we're talking over it because we're reacting to content. I think that I'm stoked for Indie. I'm stoked for Hellblade. I think Avowed had a good showing today. I think Visions of Mana was a terrific surprise. A game that's coming out in the summer. If it's not on Game Pass, still cool. I'm happy that we got to see. That's a win, in my opinion. It's a huge win. A major win. That is, for me, the thing that takes it from a 7 to an 8.
Yeah.
Because I'm now excited about that game before, and I was not at all. And I do think that long form of even seeing the little blob with ears behind the guy is important and got me more hyped than we would not have had that if it was just gameplay.
Yeah.
I think that this has a place in the industry, and I think that multiple people have discussed, I don't want this, but multiple people have also said, I do want this.
Right.
And that says a lot of they're delivering something that we don't get from the other teams. And also, I love just the overall transparency. I know that you think that they're hiding something with Hellblade. I'm not a believer of that yet, but we're getting transparency of, hey, this is where we're at. This is what we believe, and if it has a date in this direct, I think that they didn't do it at Game Wars, but they had the date already.
Right.
And because they were going to do this and they wanted that to be a showpiece. I think that Avowed, they're like, it's fall of 2024. Fall could mean October. It could mean November, but that's hearsay at this point. And then 2024, the thing that makes me nervous, I'm like, you need Indie to be out before Game Awards because you want that to be part of that conversation and everything. You want it to be part of this year's conversation. Don't stick it in December like the Ubisoft did with Avatar and just hide it. It needs to be showing up.
Avatar seemingly needed to be hidden.
Well, that's the case. I don't think Indie is going to need to be hidden.
I think we wrap it up here.
All right.
That was a good discussion.
You got it.
Okay. Thank you guys so much for being here, reacting to the Xbox Developer Direct with us. That was a lot of fun. We enjoyed the discussion at the end, enjoyed the content. Appreciate you all for being here, chatting in the chat with us. We stream Monday through Thursday, 7 to 10 Eastern Standard Time. Nick is streaming Final Fantasy IX tonight and on Tuesday, Thursday. We are all streaming Doom on the Couch with Brady on Mondays for group stream. I am playing through the Sly Cooper series. We got to Sly Cooper 2 last night. Very exciting.
What a good time that was.
Every Wednesday, ! Discord. If you want to join the Discord, join over 270 Co-op 64 fans. So we'll be back in a few hours, or Nick will be back in a few hours with Final Fantasy. New TikToks every day. Wavelength posting later today.
We also got a couple of bonus streams happening this weekend.
Bonus streams happening this weekend because of your guys' support on Co-op 64 Day. We are doing The Last of Us roguelike on Friday. Nick is playing that on release day. Going to be exciting. Gonna shoot some Seraphites in the head.
Hell yeah.
And then Saturday, 11 a.m. Eastern Standard Time, the Doug Challenge. Doylemeister with the biddies. Thank you so much. We are doing the Doug Challenge on Saturday. 10 restaurants, 1 drink place, 1 KFC. You have to order what the people in front of you order and eat all of it. 4 people, me, Nick, Brady, and our friend Noah, who is just an absolute trash can. You can just
garbage disposal, dude.
Just dump food into him. He's eating it.
He's not like a big guy or anything.
Yeah, no.
He just has a large appetite. It's awesome.
Yes. So yeah, thank you guys so much for being here with us. You want to get this ready to go off air for me real fast?
Yeah.
We appreciate all of you guys. Are we rating anybody or just going off?
We can see if we can rate someone. If the homies are, I can't.
Well, now we're just sitting awkwardly, so just get us out of here, Nick. Now I'm just staring at the screen like an uncomfortable.
Oh wait, no, I'm trying to use this computer and I'm using this computer. All right, goodbye.
We're getting you out of here. See you guys.